Hey there, freaks and geeks. Welcome to another episode of Geek Out for a Minute. Today, we're actually going to cover the 88th Academy Awards, of course, the Oscars, which is kind of like the Super Bowl for actors and, the film industry. So I definitely wanted to cover this. We're going to go into that, but before that, we're going to do a little bit of news as far as the future of GoFam. So I do want to share that with you. In the meantime, let's cue the music. I'm going to cover some news before we get into the Oscar winners. And some of the news basically is that if you recall on one of the previous videos, I talked about how the Facebook page was phase one for Geek Out for a Minute, and that phase two was obviously our YouTube channel. Right now, at this moment, I mean, we don't have much in subscribers, but we're definitely getting the views. So we actually already hit our 1,000 views, which is I'm really proud of. And I know when it comes to YouTube channels, that is really not much, but to me it means a lot because you guys are watching it, and we're this is kind of like our hobby right now. We're not doing this for a paycheck. So we do this because we just love having these type of conversations. So obviously now you've seen the inclusion of Jack in it, and he's a rapper. So check him out, look him up on SoundCloud, and then we have also the addition of Boone. And so now we're gonna have a trio moving into that. Now the other segment that I wanted to do was the anime section. We're gonna start covering anime, and I'm probably not gonna be hosting that simply because I think that you guys deserve to have people that are experts in that matter, which would be people that are constantly watching anime, and I only watch here and there. So that's why I wanted to bring you these two people. So I will be introducing them soon. Now, the other bit of news is that we're going to be moving towards the movie review section here. And we talked about it earlier, and that's the direction that I want GoFam to go. And that's why I wanted to do the Oscar section. This was just kind of like a last minute thing that hit me. That's why you don't see any Boone or Jack Platinum, is because it's kind of like I just had a hair up my ass, that I saw the Oscars, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And but in the future, that's what I'll do, movie reviews, and Jack and I, we're probably gonna be doing that together. If not, I'll probably be doing the segments here. The other stuff is that we're gonna try to build kind of like a community here in Las Vegas. Between us, GoFam, Geek Out for a Minute, and obviously you got the Blue Munoz Saloon, who is allowing us to do that. So if you guys are in the area, definitely check it out. It's a cheers environment. It's very family orientated. They welcome everybody, and they're gonna treat you very nice. Okay, so now on the other hand, then we recently met some of our new friends, and if you guys have a chance, check out Neon Billboard Music. He's doing a lot of cool stuff, so definitely check that out. He does a little homage to the Blue Mule. Really cool dude, and we're gonna actually be doing a lot of cross promotions back and forth. So I can't wait to get that started. So with that being said, I think that pretty much covers all our news right now. Okay, now later on I'll be doing movie news along with the reviews. But for now, let's get into the Oscars. The first thing is that originally this is the 88th Oscars, okay, and you had Chris Rock host, and Chris Rock's a very talented comedian. I love his stuff. I mean, he hit the nail on the head when he basically said that all we want is more opportunities. And that's exactly the way he should have gone. Because one thing can be said is that, are black actors getting the opportunity to play these phenomenal roles? Should they have more opportunities? Sure. But if the script calls for it, the diversity just for the sake of throwing it in, no, I don't think that's cool. And I don't think it should be. It should just be the top-notch actors. And if you look at the Oscars this year, man, was that full of great actors. Who would you replace? And who would you replace them with? I think Chris Rock did an excellent job addressing that situation. Let's talk about the categories. All right, so let's start off with Best Original Score. Okay, so this is basically the music playing in the background, and Hateful Eight got this one. The contenders were, excuse me, Bridge of Spies, Carol, Sicario, Star Wars, and of course Hateful Eight. You know, the Hateful Eight took it. So no, mind you, I'm not going to do all the categories because, you know, you guys are not going to know the best documentary film, and you're not going to know the best animated short, or you know what I'm saying. So I'm just going for the top dogs here. So the next one is best animated feature film, but you got Anomalisa and Boy and the World, Inside Out, Shaun the Sheep. And then when Marnie was there, but the winner was Inside Out. And now me personally, I like The Good Dinosaur a little bit better than that, even though I've still enjoyed Inside Out. I think it's a great film. So let's move on to the next category. And okay, we're skipping that one. Okay, so this is one that kind of took me by surprise because when it came to almost anything visually, Mad Max was kind of like the big winner. But when it came to the best visual effects, you know, you had, look, here are the contenders. You got Star Wars: The Force Awakens, The Revenant, The Martian, Mad Max Fury Road, and Ex Machina. And Ex Machina ends up taking the win. But I gotta tell you, and maybe you've seen this on the 2016 comic book movies, and you heard me say that Ex Machina is one of my favorite films, and it has Oscar Isaac, who is playing Poe Dameron, and he's playing Apocalypse in the new X-Men movie, and he's a phenomenal actor. When you see his chops in this movie, he is amazing. And, you know, the way they did the effects on this, it doesn't take away from the film. So you're not just bogged by special effects. You're just seeing a movie, and it's kind of like a thriller on it. So for me, it's a great film, and I'm happy that they got something, and they got some recognition for that film, because if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Ex Machina. It's a wonderful film. So let's move on to the next category, best sound mixing. Okay, and you got your nominees. You got Bridge of Spies, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And of course, Mad Max Fury wins this category. And look, I mean, I got to tell you, you know, if you're into sound engineering, and that's kind of the stuff that I went to school for that briefly, right? But I did that on my own when I was doing my own music, and I got to tell you, mixing is a very important thing. And when you're going into a movie, sound is so important that you have no idea how much it affects you until somebody points it out to you. Sound mixing is a very important part. So I'm really glad that Mad Max Fury Road got this type of recognition, because it's a phenomenal film. Okay, so let's move along to the next category, and that would be Best Sound Editing. And of course, Mad Max won it over The Martian, The Revenant, Sicario, and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So let's move on to the next category. Best Film Editing. Your contenders were The Big Short, The Revenant, Spotlight, Star Wars: The Force Awakening, and of course, Mad Max Fury Road got the win again. Okay, so and look, and for this one, I actually really liked The Big Short better on this, because there were some certain segments that it would try to explain things to you that were kind of complicated words, and The Big Short, I felt like, I mean, don't get me wrong, The Big Short and Spotlight had both important messages to give you, you know, along with the Revenant. But I think Mad Max Fury Road, it was still a phenomenal movie. I'm not disappointed that they got Best Film Editing at all. So let's move along to the next category, and Best Cinematography. And cinematography is one of the things that, like, it's also very important in a film. Bear with me here. You know, you got for this category, nominees were Carol, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, Sicario, and The Revenant. And of course, The Revenant got it. And if you've seen this movie, you know exactly why they got it, because it is so beautifully shot. And you know, The Revenant is one of my top favorite movies of 2015, simply because the way it was shot. I mean, you feel the discomfort that these actors are going through. So good for them. I'm happy that they got that award. All right, so let's move on to the next category. And best makeup and hairstyling. I'm just gonna breeze through this, and of course it's Mad Max Fury Road, and and they were going up against the 100-year-old man who climbed out of the window in and disappeared, and then the Revenant. So Mad Max, of course, they had great makeup in there. So, and then you have, excuse me, then you have best production design, which of course again was Mad Max Fury Road. I'm telling you, Mad Max in a way was one of the big winners because he got a lot of awards. Best costume design, you went from Carol, Cinderella, The Danish Girl, The Revenant, and Mad Max Fury Road got this one for best costume. I'm telling you, when it comes to everything visually, I mean, it's a great movie, but still not to dismiss, of course, The Revenant, or the other movies. Okay, so let's move on to the next category, which would be Best Adapted Screenplay. Best Adapted Screenplay, you have the contenders were Room, The Martian, Carol, Brooklyn, and The Big Short. Now, The Big Short won this, so I'm super happy because I actually really like this movie. This movie for me was kind of like one of these big eye openers, and that I kind of knew about it, about the story before, but not the depth and the explanation and the way they broke everything down in The Big Short was really amazing in this film. All right, so let's move on to the next category, and this is for Best Original Screenplay. So the categories for this would be Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Inside Out, which is kind of weird, but Straight Outta Compton, and Spotlight. So, but Spotlight got it, Best Original Screenplay. Happy for that. Okay, now Best Director. Okay, now this one, it really brings a smile to my face. Okay, but you have The Big Short, which I really like the direction of The Big Short. Mad Max Fury Road, with George Miller. Adam McKay did The Big Short, by the way. George Miller did Mad Max Fury Road, and he's coming back to helm his film, which is a phenomenal film. And then you have The Revenant, Alejandro G. Inarritu, who won last year for Birdman, and so if you haven't seen it, definitely check that one out. You have Room, which is Lenny Abramson, and Spotlight, which is Tom McCarthy. Now, all of these movies are tremendous films. Now, Alejandro Inarritu wins second year in a row, which hasn't been done in a long time. So I actually can't wait to see his next project because I was a really big fan of Birdman, and when I saw The Revenant, it was another amazing film. And so I can't wait to hear about his next project. And he just figures out a way to bring out the best in actors, So I'm really happy that The Revenant made it for Best Director because this guy deserves it. He is a fucking genius. Okay, so we're going to move along to the next category. And this is Best Supporting Actress, okay? But you have Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, which was, Carol, which is Rooney Mara, and Rachel McAdams, and that's actually the name I was looking for Spotlight, and she did a great job in Spotlight. I think Spotlight, then you have Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. So Alicia Vikander takes a win for The Danish Girl. Now, let's move on to the next segment. As you can see, I got my Force Awakens cup here. And Best Supporting Actor. And you got this one for Mark Rylance on Bridge of Spies. He was the big winner against Christian Bale for The Big Short, Tom Hardy, The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight, and then you have Sylvester Stallone in Creed. And look, man, I gotta say, Tom Hardy's performance every time, he kills it every time. Don't get me wrong, Christian Bale is also good in The Big Short, which is one of my favorite movies. And then Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight, and then you got Sylvester Stallone in Creed. I would have rather have given this to Tom Hardy, but Mark Rylance got it. Good for him. I mean, let's move along to the next category, and you got the Best Actress. Okay, so you got Cate Blanchett playing Carol, was nominated. Brie Larson, Room. Jennifer Lawrence in Joy. Charlotte Rampling in 45 Years, and Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn. and stepping it up, and she was actually the winner for Room. And if you saw her speech, man, oh man, what a humbling soul she is. When she did her speech, you can tell she was just very moved by receiving this award. And if you don't remember her, she was actually in a comic book movie, which was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And if you remember, she was the ex-girlfriend that he was hung up on, and it's kind of weird seeing her in that kind of role, and now doing all these other roles. Like I saw her in Trainwreck, which she did a really good job, and then now seeing her in this. So Brie Larson wins for Room as best actress. All right, so let's move on to the next category, and that was for best actor. And you got, look, Bryan Cranston for Trombone, Matt Damon for The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. And this is where it falls in when we were talking about earlier, where people were upset that there was no black nominees. Which one of these heavyweights would you take out? Who would you take out of this? It's crazy. So, again, Eddie Redmayne, I mean, he won last year for Theory of Everything. Michael Fassbender, he's been up and coming. He's been due for his hard work, and we're also going to see him in we already see him as Magneto, which you're going to see him in X-Men, but you're also going to see him in Assassin's Creed. And then you got Leonardo DiCaprio got the win, but he was long due for it. I mean, he's got 6 nominations, and finally he wins. So I'm super happy that Leonardo DiCaprio got the win. And if you heard his speech, what an amazing speech. And I'm going to get into the speech in a second, but also Matt Damon did a phenomenal job in The Martian. And if you see Bryan Cranston's performance in Trumbo, again, these are all heavyweights. So, but I'm glad that Leonardo DiCaprio won. And Alejandro Inarritu said the same. He talked about his hard work in this film, and he gave him props on it. And what I love about Leonardo DiCaprio's speech was what he said about Tom Hardy. He was talking about his talent can only be preceded by his friendship off the screen. And what an amazing compliment, from a heavyweight like Leonardo DiCaprio to talk about Tom Hardy. So, if you guys know, they worked together before in Inception. So, I'm really glad to see these two guys. I really was hoping that Tom Hardy would win as well, because he's one of my favorite actors right now. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Watch out for this guy, because Tom Hardy is going to be one of the tops. Good for Leonardo, man. Finally getting his Oscar. Well deserved. And the other times, I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. I mean, there's just other people that were just a little bit better at the time. So again, now let's get into basically the top dog of everything, which is the Best Picture, right? And Best Picture, their nominees was The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. And of course, Spotlight took the win. And look, man, if you haven't seen Spotlight, check out Spotlight, because it's a tremendous film, and it's something that was blown up. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, or you guys are as old as I am, but I remember when the controversy hit about these Catholic priests with child molestation, and it's just a terrible thing that happened, and they just brought it into light, and they did it in such a way that was really on the press point of view. So it's a good film. Watch it, check it out. You're gonna see some damn good performances on it. So for them getting Best Picture, that's really cool. Normally you would kind of think that the Best Picture would come with the Best Director, but I think for this one, I think Spotlight overall was kind of like a lot of people would think it's the better movie. Where I probably would have gone with The Revenant or The Big Short, but I still enjoyed Spotlight a lot. It's still one of my top movies of 2015. Okay, so that pretty much covers our 2016 Oscars winners. And look, I just want to thank you guys, because I don't know if I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. We finally hit 1,000 views, and like I said, this may not mean much for these big dogs out there, just big YouTube channels, but to me it means a lot. It means that you guys are watching the show and that you guys enjoy it. And this is a hobby for me, and I want to make things better for you guys. And I really appreciate everything you guys are doing. So look, if you guys see a video that you like, click on that thumbs up because it really does help us out a lot. And if you want to put a comment below, maybe you got a few questions or whatever, hey, address it to the show. We love getting that feedback, and we're pretty active on it. So definitely let me know. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. And remember, guys, if you guys want to have a good time and you're in the Las Vegas area, go to the Blue Mill Saloon. It's a bar that treats you like Cheers. And if you don't know what Cheers is, definitely look it up. It's a great show. But anyways, you will be treated like a friend there. And look up for Jack Platinum there as a bartender. So other than that, I'm done right here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything you guys do. Don't forget to share, subscribe, discuss, and spread the word. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.